Welcome, Mr. Lawrence. You have 3 minutes beginning now.
Be polite, be professional, have a plan to kill everyone you meet. It's the guy, John, you're hiring to train our people. Ted, you seem not to have a problem with it, watching your finance committee. Out of all of the people in this country, it comes down to Mike in Arizona that has a UPS store as his office. Now, I'm not going to sit and say this surveillance thing is above board and legit and everything else. I think we have a corporate counsel that should opine publicly on that and put her reputation on the line, whether the unit itself is appropriate. But for the city of Aurora to do business with a guy that puts that on his social media suggests that some of the actions that he's been involved with, he actually believes that. Have a plan to kill everyone you meet. And John, your staff supports hiring this person and encourages the vote to hire this person, to train police officers. You had plenty of time to make an adjustment there, and you chose not to. Don't tell me you can't find somebody else to do it. This is you, your staff. Have a plan to kill everyone you meet. Let me train your people. That's who's in front of you. Mike with his UPS store, the only guy in town. And the only reason this came up is because it was presented to you as a sole source. And everyone accepted that immediately. Sole source, Mike, in his UPS store in Arizona, who's not even a distributor for the equipment. I think that says something about the procedures of hiring people and doing business with somebody that has that as their social media post.
Thank you, Mr. Lawrence.
Seven eight, a resolution authorizing the Director of Purchasing to enter into a purchase agreement with 5A Group for the procurement of a drive test scanner for the Aurora Police Department in the amount not to exceed $170,000. This test scanner was brought before us a while back. It's to bridge a gap in operational needs and functionality at the APD. Presently, the APD is paying from operation funds to outsource and acquire the data already being requested by the court system. Information this test scanner can provide the APD with less time to acquire data and at a reduced cost to the residents. This item is being proposed as slated to be purchased with forfeiture funds and not typical city operation fund dollars. And these are items that have already been discussed at some level, some committee. If there are additional concerns about legal consequences, then I would ask our legal department to chime in. If there are additional concerns in regards to purchasing guidelines, we can hear from Mrs. Jolene Coulter once again. I'm sure she can also verify if the city has any present moral applicability requirements her department has to adhere to when purchasing widgets for the city. If we need a history of this RFP, then the APD can chime in. But first, just a little recap. This first came out of Finance Committee on 5/15/2025, Committee of the Whole 5/20/25, went back to Finance 9/25/2025, came to our committee recently 10/21/2025, made it to City Council on 10/28/2025, and it was sent straight back to Finance Committee for a third time. I would just like to share just a little insight, reminder, a gentle reminder, a cordial reminder to our newer members to also keep in mind that COW is also a working committee, and a resolution can be ironed out at the COW level, perhaps even the City Council as well, without having to go all the way back to a base committee for further discussion. So after addressing this resolution, to purchase a product for 6 months, utilizing valuable and additional staff time and resources, I know the APD would like to see this resolution move forward with an up and down vote from us on this request. So I will tell you right now, Mayor, I will put it on unfinished, and I will let you continue with any questions from the committee.
Thank you, Chairman. The Alderman is correct. This has been up and down the flagpole. I use that for a reason, but quite a few times. I think we've all had times to ask our questions. There were not a significant amount of questions that came through from the people who voted to send it back to Finance Committee. So either there are no questions or we're holding on to them for some reason. But if we could vet out any questions either tonight or over the next week as this goes, I'd like to take care of this and have it go to an up or down vote. I know it's controversial, but we pretty much come down to having 3 options. One is we can vote it down and continue doing what we're doing with outsourcing. Second option is to go with a recommendation from 5-8 group. And then the third would be to vote down 5-8 and go with LexisNexis, which would cost more money and probably propel us into a legal challenge from the 5-8 group, who has legitimately won this opportunity to provide the software and training. So those are pretty much our 3 options as we move into it. I guess I'll open it up if anybody has any questions on this agenda item. It's already going to unfinished. Alderman Seville.
Yes, can our legal counsel address the legal ramifications?
Alderman Seville, can you be a little more specific on, are you asking about the bid?
First,
Yes.
let me ask anybody from APD. I believe that 5-8 group has already threatened to sue us on this. Is that correct? Per my conversation with Chief Thomas.
Good evening, Mayor, Council. Lieutenant Tom McNamara from the Aurora Police Department, Administrative Services Lieutenant. To my direct knowledge, I've heard that, but I have not seen the actual communication. So if that is what the chief mentioned to you, I would believe that to be true.
Okay. And is that what you were looking to have question answered?
Well, first off, anybody can threaten anything, whether suing or what have you. So I think, we should deal with facts and not necessarily threats as to what could or could not happen based on experience in the law. So my question is with what you were referring to, if the council chooses to not to go with the lower bidder and goes with the other bidder, you said that we have a chance to be challenged and sued. So that's really what I'm asking the Corporation Council to address, is that possibility and what her opinion is.
So as a home rule municipality, we do retain the right to go with, to let our own contracts and go with whichever, bidder we think is more appropriate. Our ordinances that we have enacted do provide a competitive bidding requirement for this council and for staff. However, there's a catch-all in it that allows us to, there's a catch-all in section 2335 C that allows us, it essentially says that nothing in this, in the competitive bidding requirements restricts the, the authority of the city council to enter into contracts or select sources, for select vendors, essentially. So, as far as under, whether or not this is within our municipal authority, it's within our municipal authority. As for whether or not someone will sue, I think that's I haven't heard anything about a threat to sue, but I think, I have other opinions on that, but it's not something I think should be discussed publicly.
If I could follow up with a question, Mayor. So are you saying that the council doesn't have to go with the lowest bidder?
Not under your ordinance or under state law.
Okay.
Other questions from the council? Alderwoman Smith.
All right, I'm going to talk about the elephant in the room. Every time we talk about this, we talk about this person as a murderer. I don't know him. I don't know that he's a murderer. I don't know where these accusations are coming from. But this is what's holding us up, is the reputation of the person who is behind this particular surveillance program that we're discussing. So, I mean, we all got to admit that's where we're all stuck right now because of what we're being told online about this. I haven't seen any facts. If you all have seen facts, I would love that we would share this information. I agree with Alderman Masiacos. This has gone back and forth enough times. We either need to make a decision to move on or to accept this. But I really would like to clear this murderer situation up. Has the person murdered 7 people? I don't know. Does anybody have any input on that? What they've heard, what they've looked up, what they've researched? Is this part of the decision-making that's going on here? So it's really, we need to really talk about the real situation that we're dealing with here.
So from the city's perspective and a legal perspective and from procurement's perspective, evaluating this background is not part of the process of determining who wins the bid in a competitive process. I don't know, is Jolene here and able to expand a little bit as far as the selection process goes and what we have or haven't looked into?
Jolene Coulter, Director of Purchasing. Part of the evaluation process, this was an RFP, so we requested a proposal. We requested the equipment, the professional services to train our staff to become certified and be able to do this, respond in court with the correct information and language that they had. That's what we looked at. We didn't look at anybody's, we looked at those qualifications, what they were providing, their experience in providing this service, the equipment, and their references, making sure that they've done this before, they've been successful. That's where we go. That's how we look at it. And then pricing is obviously another piece of that.
So we checked their references to make sure they could carry out the task that we are putting forward in the proposal bid?
Yes.
And that's it?
Yes.
Okay. And then just to refresh the council's memory, what was the next closest bid? We got 2 bids on this. One was LexisNexis.
I believe it was about $195,000. So it's another $25,000 more, $25,000 more.
Does that answer your question, Alderwoman Smith?
Well, I think that was a third party. I think there was more to that bid, wasn't it? The person that we were purchasing from wouldn't be doing the training. Was there's something off about that bid? I could be wrong.
The second bid?
Yes.
The second bid, they would still provide the training. I believe it was not as in-depth. 5A Group proposed to bring all the equipment, deliver it to us, stay probably a 2 to 3 day in-house training with whoever we decide at the police department to have trained up on this equipment. That would include classroom, real-world exercises, and it's in the proposal, but in-depth training. I don't think that LexisNexis was as in-depth with that. So the training component of it was one of the aspects that was graded, and as well as the price. The price, I think, in the tabulation was a 20% difference as far as points. So,
And the training process is in the proposal as well, correct, for LexisNexis? Is that in there? I
I
don't
don't-
remember
I-
seeing that.
I don't have the LexisNexis proposal.
Okay.
I have the 5.8 group.
Maybe if we could get that sent out again, that would be good before next week. We could see that again and what the training is. That's all I have, Mayor.
Any further questions on this agenda item?
Mayor,
Alderman White?
yeah, I have one comment. Looking at 5A Group, I'm all for working with small businesses, and I understand what Alderman Smith is saying about that one individual. However, my concern is I look at this small business who, from what I can tell, has maybe 3 to 5 individuals at the most working for the organization, and tasking that group to train our officers. And 2 of those individuals that are trained, that do training, do have questionable backgrounds. And just looking at 5A Group versus LexisNexis, which has a stronger reputation, personally, I would think that LexisNexis would be around longer to do that training than 5A Group and would have greater resources. So I understand that 5A Group was the lowest bidder, but they're not in Aurora or Illinois, they're in Arizona. So I personally would consider LexisNexis over 5A Group just because of the reputation of one versus the other.
Any other questions or comments from the council?
Mr. Mayor,
Alderman Seville?
could we have the police department respond to the concerns of the alderman with regard to the qualifications,
Background?
the background of both vendors?
Or to the quality of the training, because you're
Yeah,
involved in the process of evaluating the RFP.
So I'm gonna see if Investigator Darrell Moore can step up and speak towards the training. He is our in-house expert on this technology. He's been to training classes involving all of the technology around cell phones and cell phone data, and he's probably better suited for that.
Good evening, everybody. Glad to speak in front of you today. So as far as the training,
Can you say your name?
Darrell Moore, investigator with the Aurora Police Department. As far as the training, I've attended classes with 5.8 Group, with the instructor, and also LexisNexis. And I think the training is going to be pretty similar. I don't have an issue with 5.8 Group, Mike Pezzelle, as far as this training. Anytime I've been in his class, it's always been top notch. I could say the same thing about LexisNexis. And I've done a lot of training with LexisNexis.
Any other questions for Mr. Moore? Okay. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
If there's no further questions on this agenda item, it'll be on unfinished. What I will suggest is if there's members of the council who are interested in presenting an alternative amendment to go with LexisNexis instead of 5.8 Group, that work with legal before the next city council meeting and prepare that amendment so it's at least been looked at by legal and we can make a decision. It's on unfinished business at the next meeting.
Mayor, can I make one more comment?
Please do.
And it's going to be brief, because I'm not going to sit here and say I know Mike Pezzelle's entire background. But I think if you look into those cases, you're going to see that these are all on the line of duty. He was a police officer. He's a marshal task force officer. So the term murderer, I think, is kind of thrown out there. And I'm not going to say I know every detail about that, but the cases he was involved in were line of duty incidents. I don't know how many. That's all.
Thank you.